This is the ESU and Non-Public Infrastructure Grant Submission Guidance. Guidance request. With this being a novice grant, having new application aspects to consider, we appreciate your patience and understanding. Many ESUs requested a video with some additional guidance with the non-publics, and a needed correction in the GMS application process for only the ESU and non-publics was also realized. The guidance in this video is meant just for ESUs and non-public schools seeking funds from the School Safety and Security Related Infrastructure Grant. The outline is going to be on eligibility, needs on the non-public form, guidance on the non-public form, consortium page, ESU's GMS application, award notification, and Q&A. Eligibility. Solicitation. A non-public's solicitation to an ESU or vice versa is between the two entities' own local control. The purpose of this video is to give the additional guidance to the application process for ESUs and non-public schools seeking a portion of these grant funds. An educational service unit that has entered into a contract for security-related infrastructure with a non-public school may apply for a grant to support the contract. An educational service unit may submit a separate application for each non-public school for which the educational service unit has entered into a contract for the security-related infrastructure. Needs on the non-public form. Each non-public will need to fill out an Excel spreadsheet form that consists of the identical questions on the Grant Management System, GMS, that the public school districts and ESUs are required to complete. The form inclusions are: each non-public seeking funds must completely fill out one of the Excel forms. A separate form for each non-public must be downloaded and attached to the ESU's GMS application on the Consortium tab that will be submitted to the Grant Evaluation Committee. The download box is at the end of the contract information within the tab on the Consortium page. The collaboration on this Excel form between the ESU and non-public is up to the two parties and the contract they have with one another. How to access the non-public form to be completed. You can access it in two different methods. You can click on the template link and download the form on the Consortium tab. See the highlighted area. Or use the form I sent in the email. Once this form is completed, you will choose the file from where you saved it to and upload it into the Consortium page. Guidance on the non-public form. There are 10 tabs on the non-public Excel spreadsheet. Tab 1 is the overview. This is an informational page with nothing to fill out. Non-public form tab 2 is the contact information. All blue tabs need to be completed with contact information of the non-public school seeking funds. Tab 3 is the needs assessment. Use the drop down in each white box to answer yes or no to each question. All 26 questions are required to be answered. Tab 4, short answer needs assessment. Type all answers into the blue space. If you need to expand the box, please do so. However, please stay within the character limits. Be sure to scroll down to not miss any questions. All 4 questions are required to be answered. Tab 5, project objective questions. Type all answers into the blue spaces. If you need to expand the box, please do so. However, please stay within the character limits. Be sure to scroll down to not miss any questions. All 5 questions are required to be answered. Be aware question 2 has a part A, B, and C. On the non-public form, tab 6 is the allowable uses. Use the drop-down box to place an X in the allowable use a non-public school plans to use funds for if awarded. Be sure to scroll down to not miss any possible uses. Use the green box to provide a brief description of the planned activities. The last one is for other. Make sure you fill out any other allowable use that you might deem to fall under the infrastructure grant. The non-public form tab 7 is the equipment operational page. All operational equipment costing less than $5,000 per unit should be on the detailed budget object code 600. Operational equipment costing at least $1,500 per unit must be inventoried. However, it is prudent to inventory any equipment. ESUs must include these equipment lines on their GMS submission on behalf of all the non-publics they are applying for on their behalf. ESUs on the actual GMS application will transfer this information. ESUs should use the location field on the actual GMS to put the name of the non-public school in this field. Use as many of the boxes as necessary. If you need more, duplicate the appropriate fields. Tab 8 is very similar to Tab 7. This is the Equipment Capital Assets page. Only equipment having a unit cost of $5,000 or more can be budgeted in Object Code 700. ESUs must include these equipment lines on the GMS submission on behalf of all the non-public schools they will be applying for on their behalf. ESUs on the GMS will transfer this information into the actual GMS application. Use the location field to put the name of the non-public school for this project. Use as many boxes as necessary. If you need more, duplicate the appropriate fields. Tab 9 is the detailed budget page. Here is where to include all the costs for the RFP with subtotals and a grand total of the budget request for funds if awarded. The last part of the non-public form is Tab 10, the assurances. Read the assurances thoroughly, then use the drop-down to put an X at the top of the page in that box. When you agree upon the assurances fully, in the green boxes, type in the date and your name confirming you are in agreement to the document. This is after the Excel form spreadsheet has been completed. The consortium page for the GMS. Both the ESU and the non-public school should save a copy of the Excel form for their own records. The ESU should then download the form onto the consortium tab page of the actual GMS application. An ESU must include the necessary contact information on the GMS application regarding the non-public school requesting grant funds next to the form download box where you're going to place the Excel spreadsheet form. We need this contact information to make sure the form matches the school. After completing the Excel form, ESUs must go to the GMS for the application. The ESU's applications must include the following. All GMS tabs must be completed by the ESU or the budget sheet will not appear and the application will not be able to be submitted. Contact Information tab will include the ESU personnel applying on behalf of the non-publics on their consortium page. Program Information tab also includes the Need Assessment tab. On this tab, you should have an average of the yes or no questions from the non-publics that contracted with the ESU. Program Needs tab. Type in each question box. Refer to the downloaded Excel documents on the consortium page. Please include the number of non-publics contracted with the ESU. You'll repeat the same information on the Program Objectives tab. It's identical to the Program Needs tab. Please refer to the downloaded Excel documents on the consortium page. ESUs completing the GMS application also need to work on the Equipments tab. The Operational Equipments tab, this should look identical to the equipment amounts from the non-public's Excel form. The Capital Assessments tab is the exact same way. This should also look identical to the equipment amounts from the non-public's Excel form. The Budget tab must include the combined total of all the non-public's detailed budget information from the Excel spreadsheet forms that were downloaded onto the Consortium tab page. This will require the ESUs to add each of the non-public budget forms to get the total amounts an ESU is applying for on behalf of their non-public consortium. ESUs completing the GMS application will also receive an award notification. The last tab is the Assurance tab. ESUs will need to complete the Assurance tab before submitting the application. This is the ESU personnel completing the GMS application. Submit. Submit the application on behalf of the non-public for which an ESU contracted with, and there is a non-public schools completed Excel spreadsheet form on the consortium page. The Grant Evaluation Committee will evaluate the non-publics independently and will notify the ESUs of which schools or school will or will not receive a grant award. The committee will also disclose the amount of funding to be received to an individual non-public or publics who had contracted with an ESU. Again, when it comes to questions and answers, submit your questions to the dedicated link that was provided in the email that went out last week. However, if there is a question about a project qualifying as an allowable use, this can only be determined by the evaluation committee. Therefore, please submit the project in your application so the committee can make a determination. Capturing these queries and compiling them into a comprehensive Q&A document to be shared with all schools will ensure prompt responses to your questions, providing immediate assistance when needed. On behalf of the school safety team and the Nebraska Department of Education, we would like to thank you again on this great opportunity for Nebraska safety in schools.